Okay, so we have here sap green. It looks pretty dark in there. And then ultramarine violet to make it darker. I can see that, you know, in the top part right here, there are some dark gaps in there. So what I like to do is kind of, not everywhere, but most of the upper part, I like to make it more dense. And making it more dense means adding dark green in here. So random, really, at this point. I can use a bigger brush. This is too small.
Are you leaving any gaps?
No, I'm not leaving gaps. I'm going to be adding gaps later on. The color of the wall. Negative painting.
Mm.
But what I want to do is make sure that when I get to this part here, I'm going to zoom in a bit. So top part right here is kind of random. I don't, you know, it doesn't matter. But once I get here, I'm going to turn my brush around and I'm going to go a bit fluffier. Because this is when, you know, if you look at the reference, you'll see that this part becomes kind of less heavy. And the only way to do it is to turn your brush around. So this is I'm doing this here, like that, like this, different directions, like this, to get some texture. Although by the time it's dry, you're not going to see anything, but still. And then once I get to this part, out, I turn my brush around, and with the corner of my brush, I'm going to fluff this, make it fluffier. So you don't end up with the reason I'm doing this is that I don't want to end up with a harsh line, like a very harsh line here. It doesn't look natural. So, and usually when I'm using darks, I keep in mind that eventually when I start highlighting, I'm going to come over here too. So I don't bring my darks too low. I don't push them too low because I want to push the highlight lower. I don't want the dark to be low. Because you see, usually when you look at something like that, you'll see that here. You see this? See those highlights in here? The lighter ones? That's what you want to see when you get to close to the wall, the exposed wall. So that will give me room. If I keep the darks away from the, you know, the wall here from this side, it will give me room to add highlights in here. I'm keeping an eye on the shape. Okay. It's already changing. The colors are getting nicer when you add that green. All right, so now I'm gonna, I know in the reference, I can see the leaves coming down here, but before I do that, I want to leave some room for the twigs or the branches that I see, and then I'll add the leaves over.
Leon, is your paint very thick? It looks
Okay.
really thick on the monitor.
Yes, it is thick. It's thick, but it's not like you know, super thick. I'm not putting water in my. I'm using heavy body,
Okay.
and I'm not putting, you know, water. I'm not using water with that. So if you're using heavy body, and you don't put water with it, and you know, you don't mix it with water, then you're good. It will be the right consistency.
That's ultramarine violet and sap green, right?
Yeah, yes, I'm using ultramarine violet and sap green. This is when they do the, you know, when you're watching a video, they do the, what is it called, Christine, when you speed it up?
Oh, she passed.
I don't
Fast
know.
forward?
Not fast forward. They make it like really fast. They paint fast. You know, they speed it
up the video.
Yeah, they speed up the video.
Speed up the
This
video.
is when we need to speed up the video here. Just kidding. Because when people are watching, it's different when they're painting. They're watching, you lose them if you're not fast. They get bored.
Exactly.
It's amazing when you're watching a video on YouTube. Even I've noticed with me, even if somebody is doing something really nice, but I'm bored, like they make me bored, like the way they're doing it, I move on fast. I move on. We don't have this patience anymore.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we don't have the patience. We used to
Don't
be
you just go to the end?
No, I move on completely, like to another video. It's bad. I'm bad. Like I'm the one who shouldn't do this because I know. But sometimes, you know, the reason is that I know. But sometimes, you know, what happens is that I know the step. That's why. You know what I mean? Like I know what's going to happen. Then you move on when you know what's going to happen, like how it's going to end up or what the person's going to do. Not with you, Christine. I promise I don't do this with you. I watch the whole thing.
Leah, what size brush are you using?
Oh, tiny weeny, small little one. It's size number 2.
Okay.
Now with this one here, again, we need to keep an eye on what we're doing. Now, I'm not too concerned right now. It's okay because I'm going to go back and use the color of the wall, mix it together, make it a little bit darker or not darker, and come in and go in after negative painting to reshape what I'm doing here. But now, even now, I'm trying not to make it too heavy.
Sorry, Lael, did you do the pot?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hi. Hi, Beth. Is that Beth? Who asked about the pot?
I did. Maria.
Maria. Oh, sorry. Okay. No, I haven't done the pot yet.
Oh, because it looks dark, but then, okay. Oh, no, yeah, you did the greenery on the pot.
Yes. Sorry,
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't.
I didn't see that. Sorry.
No. I'm sorry. I didn't. I didn't know I wasn't showing the pot. Okay. Right. Good. We can put a bit of a bit of green in here to show that there's a pot in here. Shall we try? Let's try. Okay. All right, that's good. All right, so now we're gonna put those twigs in, or stems, or for the tree. This part here and this here. So we're gonna start putting them before we start highlighting. I have here burnt umber, and I'm using the same colors I used for the leaves, ultramarine violet and a bit of green in my burnt umber. Adding a bit of water in there so it's easy for me to make a line like that. If my, like this, I'm using a round brush, small round brush. If my paint is thick, I won't be able to do a fine straight line. So if I add a bit of water to my color, not runny, but enough water to make my color like ink, it will be easier to draw a line with this. Okay, so let's do that. I don't have a lot of wall, so I'm just gonna bring the branches in using my, and it doesn't matter right now if the branches are thick, thin, it doesn't matter, because I'm gonna go back with negative painting. I could easily cover this in just one color, brown, and then open it up with the color of the wall. But we're not going to do this. It's going to be too intense. Let me see if I can find a round brush that has a long handle, so my hand is not in the way. This one, new one. I like to use, oh geez, that's too small. I like to do negative painting in this case. See how I have no control whatsoever with the lines right now. So my color, because I put too much water, my lines were kind of getting washed out. So I'm going back right now and I'm adding a bit more paint so I can get some dark, thick paint in the branches here, because you don't want them to look too flat and transparent. Okay. I know there aren't here, but it'll be nice to put just maybe two lines overlapping up here. All right. Now, since we're doing this, and I have burnt sienna, I'm sorry, burnt sienna here. I'm gonna get some burnt sienna. I have burnt umber here, so I can use that. Let's get a wider brush. Do you want me to stop for now before I do the pot? Just for a minute so you can catch up? Let's do that. Right, for this pot, I'm going to use the usual color that I use for when I do pots. It's burnt sienna, and I'm going to mix my burnt sienna with a bit of burnt umber for now, because if I put just burnt sienna, I think it's going to be too light. But mixing it for the first layer with a bit of burnt umber helps. Right, so it's good for now. Let's let it dry. Wow, looks so dark for now, but that's okay. I'm going to be highlighting it. Right, so we're going to put those the pink flowers in here, but what we're going to do is I'm not going to use the this can be done, the color that we see in the reference can be done with quinacridone magenta or magenta. I'm not going to use magenta. I'm going to use alizarin crimson and cadmium red medium. I'm going to mix them together, but mostly for now, alizarin crimson. And what I'm going to do is, because alizarin crimson right now, even if I put it here, it's still like light, too light. Actually, it's not bad. I was going to put a bit of green in my magenta to tone it down, but that's not bad. That's good for now. So now I'm going to start putting these flowers in because they are red. So they're warm color. We're going to see it. We're going to see them right away. So I'm going to be following a bit what I see in the reference, the cluster, how they're clustered in the reference. I like the way they're clustered in the reference. They look really kind of natural and interesting. So cluster, and I'm using the corner of my brush. Just alizarin crimson for now, cluster, and then a couple here and there. Then we go again, in between, just kind of we can disperse a couple, and then we're gonna go back, another cluster. And there's like a cluster over the door. It's easy to, figure out where to put them.
Is it just the alizarin crimson you're using?
Yeah, just alizarin crimson. I know you can't see it well in here, but even if I put light on it, I don't think you're going to be able to see it that much because the alizarin crimson is transparent. No, you can't see it. So when it dries darker because it's transparent. It's drying darker, not, it's acrylics, but because it's transparent, the green is taking over when it dries. But we're going to see them a little bit better when we start highlighting them. But for now, it's like just placing them because you don't want to put a strong light color right away. You want to have some darks first, and then you add the strong highlight. All right, so here we go. And again, yeah, I'm sorry, it's hard to see. I know on the monitor. Nothing is working here. That's better. A bit. Okay, a bit better. We don't have to put too many for now because we can start highlighting after, and we can add more when we start highlighting. For highlighting the spot, I have 3 colors. These 2 are burnt sienna. They're the same, but one of them is Winsor & Newton, and you can see it's orangey. The other one is Liquitex. So one is orange, has orange in it, more orangey, and the other one is more flat, less saturated, this one here. In the, and this is Naples yellow. So I'm gonna highlight with Naples yellow. I'm gonna use burnt sienna, and a bit of Naples yellow, Doesn't matter which burnt sienna you're using. I'm using a small brush. Just because I want texture. I don't want it to be flat. Dry brush. And what I'm trying to do is kind of a movement that's kind of has a curve. It's not straight, it's not flat. It has curved a bit. I'm adding here a tiny bit of burnt umber. So I'm going between burnt umber and burnt sienna, because I want to give it kind of an old look. I don't want it to look too new and clean. And it was too much glare. Okay. Now, what do I see in here? The top of this pot, the what is it called? The lip?
The rim.
Yeah, is lighter on this side and slightly darker on this side. But the lip is casting a shadow over, not much though, in the reference. So I'm going to follow the reference. I'm going to follow what I'm seeing. Okay, now this is like the second layer. I'm going to follow what I'm seeing, but not everything. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. I like the idea of the dark here at the bottom. Okay. This is burnt umber at the bottom. I'm going to put a bit of burnt sienna in it as well. And I'm going to take now a bit of Naples yellow, burnt umber. like a dry brush. Naples yellow with burnt umber. Oh, that looks good. I really like the texture. This is what's happening here with the different layers of dry brush between the, drying the Naples yellow, burnt umber, burnt sienna. It's a very nice kind of combination.
Did you use white?
No. Naples yellow, that's it. No white. It's awesome. You don't need white. All right, I should stop a bit because, I start with a nice texture and then I ruin it because I add too many layers. At least wait for it to dry.